Okay, we are now going to go and basically solve trig functions. We're going to go the opposite. Normally, you're asked to evaluate when the sign of an angle and tell us what is equal to. Now we know what is equal to. We just don't know what angle provides us with that answer. So we're kind of going backwards. So what you have to do is think of what angle has a sine of pi over 2. If you use the hand trick, make your hand fold down the finger that would give you a sine of 1 over 2. So I'm folding down my ring finger, which means I have a reference angle of pi over 6. So that's my reference angle. Remember that you actually, all students take calc, we will actually have two quadrants where we have an angle that has a positive pi over 2. It's going to happen in the two quadrants that has a positive sign. If my reference angle is pi over 6, I'm going to be dealing with actually pi over 6. And what other angle has a reference angle of pi over 6? So we have to think to ourselves, all right, what is this angle that I just drew in green? And that angle is going to also be 5 pi over 6. So there are two answers in the two quadrants where that sine function is positive. And it's saying just if we look at the domain from 0 to 2 pi, so that just means in one full circle there's going to be two angles that has a sine of 1/2. So if we move on, we want to know what angles have a cosine of negative square roots of 2. So if you fold down the appropriate finger, that would give you a cosine of the square root of 2 over 2. I'm going to fold down my middle finger, so that means I have a reference angle of pi over 4. But I want to know, and basically our cosine is negative, so I need to know what two quadrants I'm looking for this cosine in. So if cosine is negative, I'm in the second and the third quadrant. So one of our angles is going to be the angle that has a reference angle of pi over 4 in the second quadrant, which is going to be 3 pi over 4. And then the other angle is going to be the one that gives us a reference angle of pi over 4 in the third quadrant, which is going to be 5 pi over 4. So your two angles are 3 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. And let's do a tangent one. So tangent is positive in the first and third quadrants. So if I'm trying to figure out what angle has a tangent of the square root of 3 over 3, honestly, the best way, this is obviously a rationalized problem. So if you think about honestly, in a way, unrationalizing it. So what would we have had? We would have had the square root of 3 over 3 to get us 3. So that means we multiplied by square roots of 3, which means we had a 1. So we're trying to kind of unrationalize it. So basically, we're looking for what had a tangent of 1 over the square root of 3. So if you're looking at your finger, that would be sine would be 1 and cosine would be the square root of 3. So I'm folding down my ring finger, and that has a reference angle of pi over 6. We're in the first quadrant and we are in the fourth quadrant. So the first quadrant is going to just be your regular pi over 6. And the fourth quadrant is going to be the angle that takes us, or sorry, third quadrant, it's going to take us all the way around and going to be 7 pi over 6. So every time in this case you want to find what angles give us a specific answer, remember you're going to have two of them.